Well, good afternoon. I'm here with Dennis Pierce with Keller Williams, Greater Seattle,
And I'm here with Don Lonham, also of Keller Williams, Greater Seattle.
and we are going to talk to you about kind of what the market is doing and why it is so crazy today. And we're going to cover the top 12 items, and we're going to cover 3 of those items today.
We're going to do this in kind of a countdown format, but we want you to understand this is in no particular order because all of these are contributing factors. None of them is specifically the only reason or even has a real hierarchy. It's just they all kind of, as Don has said before, you put them in a bag, shake them up. This is what we end up with. It's an extremely tight market.
Yeah, and so we're going to cover those 12 items over a series of 4 videos, and we're going to cover the top 3 today. So the first item today is employment tech and high wages driving higher values, higher home values.
Yeah, and I think for perspective, we all, well, I know you and I were both here back in the 70s, and you could drive either way on I-5, and the sign you would see would say, last one out, please turn out the lights.
And that was our only employer, the largest employer in the area at that time, Boeing. And Boeing drove the economy here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we no longer have that picture. We're now dealing with a tech sector, we have an aerospace sector, we have people coming from all over the country recognizing the talent pool that Seattle has, and we're contributing in numerous different ways in numerous different economic sectors across the board with some of the largest employers on the planet at this point.
Yeah, and those are layered on to some of the healthcare employers that we have in the area, and it's like the tech layer is the newest layer, and they are by far the biggest group and the best paid group.
Right, and we're not even throwing in, I guess, the biotech and that end of things as well.
Correct.
So,
and then we have on the second end of that spectrum, actually the opposite side of that spectrum, is aging in place component of our population. So we have a lot of older people who will have equity in their homes, but their challenge is they've got a smaller paycheck but growing tax base that they're responsible for.
right, yeah, many are on fixed income now, bought their homes, say, back there in that period we're talking about, the 60s, 50s, 70s, etc., where you could buy a home in Seattle for $15,000, $20,000, but now with that tax basis, you're seeing those same homes now selling over $1 million.
Right, and for the older people in their homes, they can't afford to pay for the taxes, but they're caught in a conundrum, and that is, if I sell my house today for a very good dollar, what am I going to move into?
Yeah, there aren't any chairs left to send them to, and that's, again, we're here to help people purchase and sell homes. It's not our job to make people homeless.
Right.
And so we really are very resistant to being put in that position, but the reality of the market is there's just not enough moving spaces to put people into.
And the third topic that we're going to cover today is basically bridges those 2 gaps, and that's Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, and the baby boomers. Right. And those 4 groups, the 3 younger groups and the 4th older group, are starting to also kind of cross paths. If you look at it in economics, it's like the Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z population is going to surpass the baby boomer population.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're seeing, the population scientists are telling us, is that those 3 generations combined are going to be dramatically larger than what we've seen from the boomer population, which was previously the largest generation in history.
Right.
And so that's putting, again, enormous pressure on available inventory.
So those 3 components are 3 of 12 drivers that we're seeing having an influence on current home market, the ability for home sellers to sell their homes at a very good price, but also the pressure on home buyers where there's a reduced inventory.
Right.
So stay with us. We've got 3 more segments to go and 9 more topics to cover.
And keep an eye down below. We're going to actually be plugging in links as we have them to expand further on the topics we're discussing. So we're going to backing this up with facts and data as we have them available.
And if any of this has piqued your interest, feel free to reach out to either Dennis or myself, and we'll get right back to you.
Thanks for following us.
Cheers.